Yep.
All right, we still have some people that'll be signing in, but we'll go ahead and start. And I'd like to start by welcoming everybody. And I'm so glad that you're able to join us tonight at this town hall. It's been a while since we've had one. We have a lot to talk about and a lot to share with you. So I hope you can stay with me for the entire town hall meeting, which I think will last just under an hour. And there will be opportunities to ask questions. And you can do so by typing it into the chat box at the bottom of your screen. But before I begin with the presentation on the construction update, I first want to thank the entire AMC staff for the incredible hard work and the dedication that you always show, but especially during this pandemic. I know you've all been working incredibly long hours, frequently short-staffed, and often with some very challenging clients. I also know that there have been some questions and concerns regarding the recruitment and retention program that was rolled out in April. And following the construction update presentation, I will roll out our complete strategy, which is one of recruitment, retention, and recognition. So please try to stay with me if you can. I think what we'll do is start with the construction update, and we'll put up the first slide. Now, I don't think any of you were here when the original building was built, but as you can see, this was where we were when we first built this building. And you can see now why we need to expand and redo. While many improvements have been made over the years, you can go to the next slide. The facility was not designed to accommodate the newer technology like MRs and CTs and LINACs, or even the volume that we've seen. So we needed to do a complete overhaul and expansion and renovation of the building. You know, a couple of people have asked me, why didn't we just go buy another building and just kind of move in overnight? And I'll tell you that Mr. Lieberman and I looked at many, many sites in New York City, close to where we are, over the last couple of years before we put together the master plan. And honestly, the options to find a new building, to build a new building, was extremely expensive, and not that this one won't be, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But we really are very well placed, strategically located. We do have parking, we have easy access in and out, and so it really made sense to think about what we could do with the current facility building. And we'll go to the next slide just to take a look at what we look at from the other side of the street, the entrance street. You're going to love what you're going to see when we show you the new stuff. Several years ago, almost maybe 4 years ago, we started working on a facilities master plan. Many of you helped me, and when Carol was here, worked diligently with her in putting together a facilities master plan to determine what could be done with the building, how it could be done with the building, and how it tied in with our strategic planning for the future of AMC. So we all worked with the architects, the engineers, and now, of course, we have a construction company that we're working with. And let me show you what you're going to get at the end of all of this project. This will be the brand new AMC building. You can see that we're going to expand off right now, currently off the second or the third and the fourth floor. We will be constructing a tower, which will go to the 8th floor. And you can see that we'll be expanding space within that tower, new clinical space, new office space, space that we're desperately needing for services. The funds to pay for this building, let me tell you, when we first started to look at it, we thought it was going to be about $70 million. In order to do everything that we need to do, and of course this was 3 years ago when we first thought it was going to be about 70 million, is now $100 million. I am very pleased to tell you that we've raised 60 million so far, and that's all from donors. None of this money comes from revenue made at the medical center. So without the hard work of the development committee and the generosity of our donors, this building wouldn't be possible. But you're now looking at what's going to be a $100 million building. We're going to add 11,000 square feet. That includes what we expand out on 3 and 4, and also in the core of the building. In that core, and I'll show you a little bit later, is a brand new staff elevator and staircase. So one of the things that the staff always asked me about was, is there any way that we can come in where we don't have to walk through the lobby and interact with clients, because it really delays their day. So aside from that request being fulfilled, we really needed a new elevator and stairs for the expansion of the services that we're going to bring up on those other floors. Let's see if we can go to the next slide, because I'd kind of like to walk you through some of the highlights. So this will be our new entrance, beautifully done. All the windows will be replaced. We will be green in terms of energy usage and putting in all new windows throughout the entire building. You know, interestingly, I tell you that just the windows alone, to replace the windows, and I think I'm correct about this, it's almost $5 million just for the windows. And that does not include any of the abatement that has to be done, because when the buildings were built way back then, they used asbestos around some of the windows. So that all has to be removed. But little things like that, you know, are so critical to the integrity of the building, it's kind of hard to justify. It's like when you have to put a new furnace in. You got a brand new furnace, but you don't really get to enjoy it. It's not as great as looking at a whole new brand new room. Our old lobby, which is the next slide, as you all well know, looks like this. This will be completely transformed, and I'll show you that next slide, into a brand new, fresh, beautiful looking lobby. The only thing that we'll maintain will be our signature tile wall at the elevators. And the flooring will be redone, the lighting will be redone. It'll be a much more comfortable area for people to come and sit and wait. It's really going to be quite beautiful. I'm very excited about the lobby. Next is our what we call departmental improvements. And this is probably what you want to hear most about. First, I'm going to kind of show you what's current, and then I'll show you what we're doing in the construction and the renovation. Again, you know, we're adding 11,000 square feet of new space and 26,000 square feet of renovated space. So this is the current second floor, many of which you are maybe too familiar with at the moment. But the area in gray, the dark gray, is the front of the building. That's not being touched at this moment. The rest of the whole thing behind the double doors is all going to be redone. So you can see currently where radiology is, where surgery is, that giant ICU of 600 square feet, and that giant ER of 580 square feet. Let me show you what you're going to have when we get to the new level 2. ICU will now go up to almost 1,800 square feet. It will include a meeting room, some lounge rooms. The cages will be increased. It's going to be spectacular. And I'm going to show you a picture in a minute of just a rendering of what it might look like. So that's going up from the 600 square feet to almost 1,800 square feet. We need it, and it's going to be spectacular. The ER, which used to be somewhere around, I think, 580 square feet, will now go up almost by 1,000 square feet, up to almost 1,700 square feet. That will make a huge difference. And the treatment room as well is going to go up by 1,000 square feet. So this whole new back area is going to be just amazingly beautiful, modern, and much more efficient, much more work friendly. If you could point to that pink area, Court, that's where the new staircase and that's where the new elevator will be. Unfortunately, but radiology already knows they're getting space, but they're going to be moved over a little bit because that elevator and staircase have to go right where the current X-ray rooms are. But we have a plan for that, which we'll share with you later too. So this is what the new ICU, this is a rendering of what we have planned for the new ICU. Now, granted, when we get down to where they want everything in the cabinets and where they want to put things in the unit, the staff will have a lot of say in that. They've already worked with the veterinary architect to talk about different types of cages that they want, oxygen cages, corrals, so that we want it to be ergonomically friendly going forward, because it's very challenging when you have, as you well know, working in that ICU, when you have to bend down and crawl into a cage. All of the new cages will be designed ergonomically so that that doesn't become a problem going forward. So this is just a rendering of what we expect the new ICU to look like. And again, it's going to be 1,750 square feet, beautiful new space, beautiful new flooring, beautiful new cabinetry, all new cages, lighting. It's really going to be quite spectacular and a nice place to work, I hope. The next slide is level 3. And again, in the dark gray, that's all going to be untouched. If you can see to the right, the old SCU is back there. That's going to be moved. And I'll show you what the new 3rd floor is going to look like. So the new SCU, which will now go up to almost 2,400 square feet, will be in the new extension off the build out, if you will, off of the 3rd floor. Dental and endo stay the same. We're going to be moving primary care, which used to be community practice, up to this area. They will have their own private waiting area and treatment rooms up there. They'll share that waiting area with optho, who will be moved up there. Everything else will stay the same, but you can see the difference that it's going to make in terms of the SCU. And again, in the pink is the new staircase and elevator. And it goes up to the 8th floor. We can't build up to the 8th floor right now in terms of bumping out, but we do have space all around that tower for additional office space and some other clinic space that we're going to need going forward. So that's the new, I think we have a picture of a rendering of what the new SCU is going to look like. And it's going to be on the riverside, so there's going to be natural light, clean, fresh, more cages. I can't give you a specific cage count, but definitely those cage numbers are going up. And again, we're looking at the types of cages that will accommodate bigger dogs and more comfortable space for not only the animal, but for the people working there. The next slide is one of my favorite aspects of this whole construction. On level 3, and that's on the riverside, that's on the FDR side, the whole length of level 3 will be a dog run, which will have, it'll be enclosed on the top so that it will be good for all weather. Special footing, carpeting, rugs, fake grass, whatever you want to call it, will be there. So we no longer have to take the dogs out on the sidewalk to relieve themselves. There'll also be an opportunity to, have the dogs get some exercise without walking on the street all the time. So this, I think, will be I just love it. I think it's one of the nicest things in the whole project. Level 6, again, the gray is not being touched. The staff support is going to be moved. The admin places are going to be moved, and I can show you what level 6 is going to look like. Level 6, again, there'll be some built out in that pink area around the core for some office space. Central sterile will be there. The new staff support for doctors' offices will be in here, and environmental services will be moved to this floor, as will facilities and materials management. And the reason that central sterile is there is you'll understand when I get to talk to you about the 7th floor. But before I get to the 7th floor, I'm going to talk about the education center. This new education center, which will be in the built out 4th floor, all of the new space, will accommodate about 130, 125 people. The room can be divided for smaller groups. It's all natural light. It's on the riverside. It's really beautiful. It will also be fitted out with the newest and greatest high-tech IT, video conferencing. It'll really be what we should have as an education facility in terms of support electronically. So it's really going to be special. Okay, so my 7th floor, I kind of did a little out of sequence, I apologize, but the 7th floor, which was existing, which I just talked about, I'll show you what the new 7th floor is going to look like. The entire 7th floor will now be the surgery center. The surgery center, which is going up to, I guess, almost, well, close to 4,800 square feet, which is twice or more of what we currently have on the 2nd floor. Everything will be up there, including 5 new ORs, a minor procedure room, laboratory space, meeting space, the recovery room will be there. Everything will be located for surgery on that floor. And again, that elevator will run right from the ground floor up, which is why we put central sterile right beneath that on the 6th floor. There'll be a medical, I guess it's called a dumbwaiter, but it's a medical elevator that'll bring supplies up to the OR. It'll be supplies up to everything that you'll need up there. And you'll have total privacy. No one will be able to get off the elevator on the 7th floor except coming up through the staff elevator. So it'll be totally contained. And I think we have a rendering of one of the ORs next. So this isn't exactly what it'll look like, but it's going to be similar to that. We're still fitting out, working with the staff and the architects on how we want the rooms laid out. But if you look to the right behind the OR table, you see that glass encounter all the way over to the right. That's it. The way that we're going to construct these is that the rooms will back up to each other, and the supplies and the storage will be in these glass cabinets, so that you don't have to, as I said to the surgeon, you won't be kicking the door anymore for supplies. They're going to be right there for you. And it will service, each room will be able to draw from the supply cabinets that are right there for the cases that you're doing. Again, the floors will be, what I call comfort floors. People are standing all day doing surgeries on their feet all day. We're finally going to put down the appropriate flooring so that takes some of the pressure off of people that are, standing at the tables all day. It's going to be quite beautiful. So those are all of the good stuff. Now, I have to tell you that this project has been talked about by the construction people who have done much bigger projects than ours. For us, $100 million is like $1 billion, but they've done projects in the millions and millions, hundreds of $1 million more. But what they've said to us is that this is one of the most complicated and complex projects they have ever worked on. And the reason for that is because we can't really close any services. They have to work around us. We have to work around them. And somebody described it the other day as a Rubik's Cube. So every time you make one move, it's going to affect a lot of people on the other side of that move. But here is the construction timeline, just so you get an idea. Some of what we've started to do has kind of been behind the scenes already, but the official construction start date is going to be in June. And you can see that it's going to run until the end of 2024. That's when we will finally be finished. And again, you can see at the bottom, it's a $100 million project. And fortunately, through our excellent development staff and our donors, we have the money for the first 2 years, and I'm very confident that we're going to raise the money for the final 2 years. But that's basically what we're going through in a nutshell in terms of a timeline. The thing that makes this project so interesting and complex is that it consists of 15 phases. And all I'm going to show you tonight is the phases that are going to be affecting us in 2021 and some of the things that we're doing to address those phasing challenges. In July, we will be losing our parking lot. We will still maintain the tent, and we're still working with the engineers and the architects of a location for that tent. But the parking lot will be gone because they will need to be using that. We have to build a moat around the hospital, so to speak, because we're in a floodplain. Those of you that were here during Sandy know how challenging it was to keep water out of the building. We're looking at some valet and offsite parking for clients, and we're also looking for offsite parking for our staff. Radiation oncology will be down from November of this year until August of next year. And that's critical because not only are we getting a brand new machine, and some people have said, couldn't you just take the old machine out and put the new machine in? It's very much more complicated than that because of the infrastructure changes that have to be made to the building. So Rachel's still going to be with us. Our radiation oncology resident will still be getting trained. We're working on that. And we're also trying to see, maybe we can work out something again like we did during Sandy with maybe Blue Pearl or someone else where we would go there and use their equipment. That hasn't been resolved completely yet, but we're working on it. The second floor, and this is what we're still working on. We're still trying to identify swing space, but the post-op recovery area, the rounding room outside of Terry's office, and radiology, all are going to be moved in September and will not return until August of 2023 for the recovery. That's when the new surgery center will open, Terry's office and the rounding offices. The X-ray, while it will not be located where it currently is, we already have a plan to convert 2 exam rooms uh, into temporary X-ray rooms, and we're working on that now. I think we have a pretty good plan for that. The entire 6th floor will be vacated in August of 21 and not expected to return until August of 22. And we're still identifying swing space for those people living on the 6th floor. A lot of services have already been moved out of the building across the street to Rockefeller, but we still have some places that we have to vacate. But it's very complicated. It will be challenging. We're going to have a weekly construction update that'll go out to everybody, and we'll probably even post it on the walls so that people know what area is going to be worked on, what's happening today. It's not always going to be quiet. It's not always going to be easy. We have a lot of things that have to be considered in terms of fire safety, and construction walls have to go up, temporary walls, to protect you and to protect the clients. So you'll see a lot of things happening starting in June. And all I can say is at the end of this, it's going to be really, really worth it. So now I'd like to, if I may, address the recruitment, retention, and recognition program. As you know, we rolled out the recruitment piece of this in April, and we felt that we had to immediately react to the market, which was already giving out way more than we were in terms of both referral bonuses and sign-on bonuses. So what we've done is made the referral bonus the same as the sign-on bonus, so that if you can find us a licensed tech, they get a $5,000 sign-on bonus, and you get a $5,000 what I call recruitment fee or finder's fee. If you can find us a licensed tech that has an ASA skill level of 3 or higher, that goes to $7,500 for both you and the person coming on. And all other staff positions will receive $1,000 for the referral and $1,000 sign-on. I'm pleased to say, as of today, I think since we rolled out the program, and Linda can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had 9 new hires and 3 are in the process of being hired. So it's working. And it was important for us to get out ahead of a lot of the corporate veterinary practices that obviously have a lot more money to spend than we do. So we needed to be competitive. Everybody's going to be fighting for these positions, and it made sense to get out ahead of them and to be at least competitive with the market, if not a little bit better. And you know, most of the people that we get that we really love working with are people that we know, you know, people that have worked with us before, or people that we know that are working and are really good quality people. So please take advantage of the referral bonus. And I appreciate those. I think a couple of those were already referral bonuses, some of the people I just talked about. So I'm sorry if some of you felt that we didn't talk at the same time about the retention and recognition. So let me just tell you quickly about the retention issues, the retention strategy that we have. We're calling it the 3 R's: recruitment, retention, and recognition. Some of the things that we're doing, obviously, is the enhanced referral and sign-on bonus. We're going to expand the Vet Assistant Career Ladder program, which should be great for assistants. We're taking a look at the anesthesia skill level, and with some recognition coming from that. That's going to be forthcoming, but we know that a lot of people do anesthesia, not just in the OR. So we want to be able to recognize that skill level and reward those people as well. The overnight differential now will run from 7 p.m. until 8 a.m. So it's for the people working overnight. So they'll get that new, it's going to be 10% for everybody, and 10% overnight differential for everybody. And it's primarily for it is for the overnight folks. So if you are working past midnight, you will be getting that differential. But if you come in at 7 and work through the night, you get 10% overnight differential onto your regular hourly rate. We're going to increase the CE stipend for technicians from $500 to $1,000. And we're going to let that roll over for a 2-year period, especially because last year many people could not travel or go to CE. So we're going to, roll that over for 2 years. And before I go to the recognition piece, I want to just be able to say again that without all of you, everything else that we're doing doesn't happen. And sometimes I think, it's kind of like being in a family. You're the last to be pat on the back. And I want you to know that in order to recognize and thank all of you, and I do mean all of you, who kept AMC open and continued to care for all who came through our doors by working those long hours, working short-staffed, and all of the challenges that the pandemic gave us, I'm pleased to announce the following recognition program. So maybe we could put that slide up. So starting July 5th, there's going to be a 2% across the board increase for all employees, with the exception of the executive team, which is myself, Neil, Paul, and Courtney. Everyone else will be receiving a 2% salary increase, and this will not impact year-end increases. There will be a $1,500 bonus check for all full-time hourly staff. They'll get that in May. There'll be a $1,500 bonus check given to each intern and resident also in May. We'll have a $500 bonus check for part-time hourly people and a $500 bonus check for all other salaried staff. So I know that I wish I had been able to share all of this when we started with the recruitment program, but it took us a while to be able to pull together and get approval. But I'm hoping that you will be happy with this. And again, it's a way of saying thank you for everything that you have always done, but really during this pandemic have gone well beyond what anybody ever could have expected anybody to do. So this is a way of recognizing that great commitment from all of you. So are there any questions that have come through that I could answer?
Not currently, but if people have them, they can type them in the chat.
Any questions on the building? Any questions on the recognition program? Any questions you'd like to ask me about anything? And then, of course, if you have questions and you didn't want to put them in today, you can always email them to us. You can drop them by the office. You can come and see me anytime you wish, or any one of us, Paul and Neil or myself.
Oh, somebody just asked a question. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just scroll down. Where's the cafeteria going was one question.
The cafeteria will be somewhat closed down initially, and I'd have to look at the plans to tell you. Paul, can you remember where the cafeteria ends up going?
I think it stays in the same footprint they're building onto
it stays
the
in
back,
the
behind it. Yeah.
Behind it.
Right.
We're going to lose a portion of it for a couple weeks or maybe a month while they're putting in some infrastructure, some wiring and plumbing and things, but the cafeteria will be essentially back where it was. And I'm glad we just redecorated the whole thing so that we can redecorate it again, but at least we'll have one.
People are asking to see certain floors again, which I will put up, but first will rounding areas be available in the new surgery floor?
There's one rounding area in the surgery floor, and we're also working to find rounding areas in the education center and in the core. Surgery will have their own because they're located that way. Each ICU and the ER will have theirs in their new space. There's a rounding room and a tech room there. And we're working on the IM rooms with the architects now in terms of where we're going to locate those and potentially in the new portions of the core, but those are still being worked out.
Will there be a temporary space for bicycle parking when the parking lot is closed?
I hope so. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. We might be ending up putting it where we move the tent, and that's a possibility to shelter it near the tent. But that entire back parking lot will be taken up with major pieces of equipment for quite a long period of time.
Okay. Where is neurology going?
Neurology will be staying on the second floor, and we have new plans for neurology, which I'm not sure if they're on that second floor plan yet that we showed tonight, because we've just worked through them with Chad and Kathy and the architects last week. I don't know if Chad's still on the call or not, but he's been intimately involved in the neurology move.
Yeah, I'm still on the call. If you can imagine the corner of booth 3, it next to a triage booth going around, so it's still going to be on the corner there. It'll be a little bit of an L shape. There are huge advantages that I'm sure anyone that works in the ER realizes. A lot of the cases that come to ER need neuroconsults. So yeah, we're happy to be on the second floor still.
And I think that gives you more space too, doesn't it?
Yeah, currently we're in about 96 square feet and we'll be
Sorry.
about 500. So it's a very large expansion.
Are there plans to have more computers, faster Wi-Fi, more workstations to sit at computers in higher demand as we add coordinators?
We will have enough computers for everybody, and the space around the new space will obviously be able to, support those coordinators with computers. You have to understand that with the expansion, there's a lot more space. There'll be a lot more efficiency. There'll be more places for people to work, not shoulder to shoulder like we're working now. So I can't answer that question by wall and by which area right now, but yes, that's why we're building out, and that's why we're renovating the space that we have to accommodate not only the growth in volume, but with also growth in the number of people working.
Another question, I am wondering if there will be any upgrade to the library room to study for residents, interns, group study areas, computers to do searches. That's all in the teaching.
And it'll be all in the education center.
So yes. Another person asked about the bike parking. So
Yeah.
we will.
We're gonna have to figure that out because a lot of people are taking advantage of that bike rack in the back, I know.
It's part of the, even though it wasn't on the slide, but it's part of what we're looking at, where we're gonna have access for parking and the bikes. But as Kate said, it's complicated. Every square foot of that parking lot is being asked something of. So we're working on it.
Somebody asked if you can explain the anesthesia recognition, but that's something you're rolling out.
I think they'll hear from their managers over the next couple of weeks of working that out with Linda and Dr. Smith right now. But the point is that we know that people that are doing anesthesia, even if they're not working in the OR, still have a skill, and we want to acknowledge that and reward people for that. So that program will be rolled out in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, let me just look. Scroll down again. Will our licensure raises increase?
Say that again.
Will our licensure raises increase?
I don't know. Do you mean what you pay for a license? Who's asking? Is it a doctor? Is it?
If you have a.
Is that an LVT?
I don't know who's asking, but
That may be in reference to the LVT year of licensure.
that's determined by New York. Somebody says that's determined by, it's for LVTs, NYSED.
Right. So the state determines the licensure fee. And I don't know if they intend to increase that. I guess maybe Kathy or Chad could check that out through the association, maybe.
Somebody asked if the bonuses will
Yeah, I
be.
can look into it.
Paul, do you want to take
What was it?
that?
Say that again, Courtney.
About the bonuses and how they're taxed.
Yeah, yes, it's being paid through payroll, so it will be taxed.
So somebody's clarifying, the 2% increase is for all staff, not just salaried staff. That's correct.
Correct.
staff. Yes,
All staff.
yes. Hold on, let me just see. There was a lot of comments about that one question. One, during construction, are we allowed to eat within our own department where we feel safer?
That's a-
Rather than expose ourselves to others and risk COVID exposure?
Well, that's kind of like a trick question that I can't answer because I don't know where you're eating now.
I guess that's true, sorry. Fair. And then somebody asked, two people asked that we put up that slide on the recognition, so I can do that.
Sure.
Hold on, sorry. If we didn't understand your question, I apologize, and you feel free to email anyone with the senior management team email with the question, so.
Would you want me to go through that again to clarify anything, or did the person just want to look at the?
I don't know, somebody asked to see it again, so.
Okay. But just to clarify, yes, all employees will get the 2% with the exception of the people I told you about. And the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. On top of the 2%, there's a $1,500 bonus for all full-time hourly staff, $1,500 bonus for all interns and residents, a $500 bonus for part-time hourly staff, and a $500 bonus for all salaried staff. So everybody gets a 2%, and then the bonus checks are outlined as I just explained.
Okay, there's a couple more questions. Oh, still wondering about the lounge or a place to sleep. Sorry, I missed that. I guess they're asking if there's,
Well, the current bathrooms on 4 are not being touched. So
Okay.
wherever people are, using those for, I guess, on-call rooms right now, that'll stay the same. They're not being touched.
Oh, okay. I think the licensor question, I can ask it, but I think you should talk to HR directly. It's something about,
That's a eight, yeah,
yeah, okay, so,
yeah. They can refer
Yeah.
that to HR.
oh, can you please address the cameras? Was that an email that was sent today, cameras about,
I think that's Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy, can you address?
So we had to put up cameras in certain areas where a lot of controlled substances are used in the wards and in the, where animals are anesthetized, just because we have a lot of instances of lost or misplaced drugs. So it's solely just to be able to look like if a syringe is taped to a cage or something like that. That's the sole purpose. It doesn't have sound. It's only just to look for in those cases where we can't find a discrepancy.
So
And
Kathy, is
Kathy,
that what the Titan people
Yeah.
recommended we do in order to be compliant with the DEA?
Yeah, just so we can tighten up our controlled substances.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kate, I think there's a few other questions that we can, like I said, I think we should speak to HR or send us if we haven't been able to address everything. And did you want to, hold on, let's see. Oh, one question, I guess one specific construction question I can ask is, can you give more info about the asbestos in the building and how it will be removed?
It gets remediated through a company that does nothing but asbestos abatement. So the wall, wherever it is, it's protected, it's sealed off, and it's removed. I mean, I'm not an expert at it. I know that we've talked a lot about it because it's a very expensive process. Paul's been working with a company, and I don't know the name, but you don't have to be worried about being exposed to it.
They take all the mitigation steps. They seal up the area, negative air pressure so nothing leaks out. Yeah, so it'll all be handled the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the Department of Buildings won't let you do it any other way.
Right.
I mean, we're pretty limited to what I mean, we have to follow all of the Department of Building codes, and there's probably, for every single question you have, there's a code that goes with it. So if you're worried about it, don't be, because the mitigation will be done in the way that it's supposed to be done.
Somebody clarified the question about eating. When the cafeteria isn't available, they'll have to eat. Will they eat just where they work?
I just turned a blind eye to all the eating.
Right.
Okay.
And the
Let's not talk
cafeteria,
about eating.
the cafeteria will be shrunk when the back half of the cafeteria, back quarter, will be affected, but there'll still be places to eat. It'll be smaller, but it's not going away during construction.
Okay, and then I have clarification on the licensure, so we will get an answer to that, the question about the licensure raised for LVTs, so. Okay, I think we've covered most of them. Again, I apologize if we missed something, but I can take all the questions and then make sure people who asked if we didn't have time to answer will get an answer shortly.
In court, we recorded this tonight too, right? So
Mhm.
anybody that couldn't come can see it at their leisure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that kind of concludes our discussion. I hope I gave you as quick and concise as I can at the moment overview of where we are with the construction. And I hope you're happy with the recognition program that we're putting to place. And if you have one last slide, Court, we'll put it up, because I want to just say one thing more, if I may. And that basically is that, AMC.
Sorry, it's coming. Kate.
That's all right. AMC's future has really never been brighter. And this building project, which has been a dream for a long, long time, is going to come to fruition. And this is what we're going to move into, and this is where we're going to live. And this is really a testament to all of you that work here now. It's a testament to all the people that came before us. And just as important, it'll be here in a legacy format for all of those people that come after us, all the next generation of veterinarians, all the next generation of LVTs and assistants and support staff. This is really, I mean, it's so important to the future of AMC to get this building done. I know it won't be easy. We're all going to be, inconvenienced at some point, but in the end, this is where we're going to move into. So you can thank yourselves for this, because of all of the hard work over all the years that people have worked at the Animal Medical Center. This is our reward. So again, I thank all of you for attending tonight. Happy to answer any questions. If you want to come to the office and look more closely at some plans over the next couple of weeks, feel free. And again, we'll have a very robust newsletter that'll go out so people will know exactly what's happening when and where, so that you're not caught surprised if you can't get through a door one day. We'll let you know way ahead of time what's happening. So again, I thank all of you. I'm very grateful for everything you've done. Look forward to continue to working with you. And I hope to get to see you very soon. Please be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.